Hey, Dr. Germ here. I want to talk to you about emotional stability. Now, what is emotional stability? Well, we're human beings and we have emotions. Emotions are things such as anger, despair, frustration, or happiness, excitement, joy, things like that. These emotions define us who we are as human beings. If we didn't have these emotions, we might as well just be robots. Just little cyborgs programmed to walk around and do commands, but we're more complex than that. These emotions make up who we are. So if you're watching this video, you're probably curious about emotional stability. What is it? I think the best way to describe our emotions and how stable our emotions are is like a house. So imagine you have this house here, and the house is made completely of sand, so it's a sandcastle house. And the littlest bit of water comes, and it just totally washes away that house. We would call that a weak house. Well, our emotions can be like that. We can have weak emotions, meaning we can get angry very easily, or frustrated very easily, or discouraged very easily. Now, if this is the case with somebody, I would say they have a weak emotional stability. They're not able to control their emotions and stay strong. Things get to them easily, things rattle their cage easily, and it distracts and deters them from being an excellent human being. Now imagine another house. It's a stone house, like a castle, very strong. And a wave comes and it just smashes against the house. No big deal. Rocks come and they smash against the walls. No big deal. It literally takes a tornado or a hurricane to really dent this house, this castle. And that would be someone who has a strong emotional stability. This is someone who can handle stress, can handle pressure, can handle hecklers. And, I think of a professional athlete that has a strong emotional stability as someone who can handle the constant heckling they get and not react to it and not let it get to them. So that's the difference. A sand house is a weak emotional stability. A strong stone house or a castle represents someone with strong emotions, the ability to control their emotions. So you may be wondering, well, how do I get strong emotions, and why do I need strong and controlled emotions? Well, I think there's a couple of reasons you want to have a strong emotional stability. I think the first is just so that you can have an enjoyable life. Can you imagine a life where everything affects you in a negative way, where everything is frustrating, everything makes you angry? The littlest thing someone says or does just gets you all riled up. A life like that, it's very difficult to think clearly, to take a step back and really understand what's going on and to enjoy yourself, because you're constantly in a mode where you're reacting to the situations and the things other people say. Whereas if you have a strong emotional stability, I think life becomes much more enjoyable because you can handle a lot more. You can handle a heckler, you can handle someone giving you negative feedback. And all those things are just more or less feedback for you to take and understand and process and to do better next time with. So how do you get strong emotions? Well, I think the first thing to do is to recognize if you have weak emotions and to have the humility to say, well, I get angry easily, I have a temper, or yeah, I really get frustrated easily, I can't do much of anything new before I get super frustrated, or yep, I get afraid very easily if I'm around more than one person. I'm extremely afraid. And then once you recognize your current state of your emotions, and that's a hard part because you have to be humble enough to recognize your own weakness. Once you recognize your weak emotions, you say, okay, I have these weak emotions. What am I going to do about it? How do I make these stronger? The best way, I think, to make your emotions stronger is to look at it like your muscles. So I have this bicep here. Let's see if I can get it on the camera. And so I flex my bicep. There's my muscle. And I have a little bit of a bicep. Nothing, no big deal. Nothing major. I would have no bicep at all, hardly, if I didn't do any weightlifting. And I do a little bit of weightlifting. Nothing spectacular, but enough so that I keep in decent shape. And that weightlifting, that regular weightlifting, is what keeps my muscles strong. And each time I lift weights, I get a little uncomfortable. I have to strain a little bit and go beyond what I normally am accustomed to doing. And by doing that, I keep in pretty good shape with my muscles. So our emotions are like that. If you want to have a strong emotion against frustration, All you've got to do is start exercising that emotion. And what does that mean? Well, put yourself in situations where you get frustrated. And what you do is beforehand you say, all right, this situation makes me frustrated. Like, let's say you're going to learn to make websites, for example. You're going to just try and figure it out. But every time you've tried in the past, you get frustrated. So the first thing you do is you sit down and you start building a website, or you start learning a tutorial or something. And let's say after the first minute you start to feel yourself get frustrated. Each time that happens, you take it in, take a deep breath, say, I know I'm getting frustrated, but I choose not to this time. And you take a couple deep breaths, and you go back to learning, and you go back to the situation you're in, and you keep doing it, and you make the choice not to get frustrated. And it's a hard choice at the time because the instinct is to get frustrated. Make sense? Same thing goes with fear. If you're afraid of being in crowds of people, the best way to be stronger with your fear is to go in crowds of people. I know that may sound counterintuitive because you're just deathly afraid, but trust me, it works. So go find a crowd of people, or just go talk to people out in the open. Find one person and say, hi, my name is Joe Big, or whatever your name is, and start a conversation. And your heart may be thumping in your chest, and you may be nervous and sweaty, but that's the only way your emotion is going to get stronger, is by putting yourself in the situation where you know you have a weakness with that emotion. And it goes with anger, it goes with fear, frustration, confidence. If you're not confident in public, the best way to get confident is to go in public and be around people, and then start to take in their reactions. And at first it may be like, oh, they're looking at me, oh, they probably think I'm an idiot. And then to do it over again and over and often, and sooner or later, all of a sudden you're not going to care what people think. And you're going to be confident and not worried. So that's how you build up strong emotions. It's just like exercising. You do many sets of exercises again and again to build up that physical strength, and it's the same thing with your emotional stability. To gain emotional stability, you have to put yourself in the situations that trigger those negative emotions, and then make the hard choice, and it may require deep breaths in and out, to not act on that negative emotion, and to just recognize that, hey, I know I'm about to get frustrated, but I choose not to, and I choose to continue on with what I'm doing and keep moving forward. So this has been a little bit about emotional stability. What do you think? Is this the best way to gain strong emotions? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. This is Dr. Germ signing off.